Welcome to stop 4 of our tour. This is where we're going to see the Great Chain, and this is what we call the plain here on West Point. The plain is where the original old chapel used to sit that we just left, and it would be located right over here in this general area. And here we see the Great Chain. This is the actual links that cross the Hudson right down here across the river. Point right over there is where the chain went across the river to stop British ships. And this is just one of the largest displays of monuments at this area. And it was a marvel of Revolutionary War engineering. These original links were preserved because of, following on Benedict Arnold's treason, Henry Knox was assigned to West Point. And during that assignment, he proved himself invaluable because of his dedication in maintaining not only the readouts, but this chain as well. He did that by painting it and storing it indoors, and intended to use it later on in later conflicts. But luckily that never happened, and now we have this beautiful chain left as a monument. The chain stretched across the Hudson and it connected to Constitution Island. It weighed over 150 tons, and each link, as you can see, is massive, and each one weighs about 114 pounds apiece. Imagine the effort to hand forge and transport this chain in the 18th century, where they only had sleds, wagons, and horses that would have to drag this massive piece of equipment down hundreds of feet to the Hudson River. The chain wasn't installed until 1778 at this location. If you notice, there's a nice S-bend in the Hudson River right here. That S-bend allowed the British, it would keep the British ships from speeding up to go through this area, and that chain would have been more effective than it would have been 3 miles to the south at Fort Montgomery, where Brigadier General George Clinton had actually faced the British and actually was defeated because of an overland attack to his fort. And it was through that overland attack that they were able to remove the chain at Fort Montgomery to reach the Hudson River. So it was seen a few years later, they're like, West Point would need a chain itself, and this S-bend provided the perfect location for that. And with the location of the readouts here and to the south, it provided the perfect opportunity for them to block and slow down the ships here so that they could be attacked from each side of the river. This area right here and just the chain itself is just a testament to American engineering and ingenuity, and the ability to combine all of those items together to create a very effective defensive posture here at West Point, New York. The purpose of the chain was not only to block enemy ships, but it was to stall the ships long enough so that musketeers and cannoneers on each side of the river could engage the ships as they were stalled in place. So if you look down here, this is Constitution Island. The chain would have stretched from this point straight across to Constitution Island, and we would have had artillery and gunmen or musketeers on each side of the river to engage those ships. This river, the Hudson River, served as an essential supply line for not only the American forces, but also the British forces, who were definitely facing significant logistics issues as the colonists controlled this region. Let's take a moment to appreciate the craftsmanship of these links. Each one represents the labor of blacksmiths and the dedication of communities who believed in the fight for independence. And it's through these links that we have an independent and free nation today.